Today, let's talk about that great invitation to see the place where they laid him. I'm going to read you from Mark chapter 16, verses 5 and 6, where we read, "And entering the tomb, they saw a young man clothed in a long white robe, sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. But he said to them, 'Do not be alarmed. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He is risen. He's not here. See the place where they laid him.' When the Sabbath day was over, and as soon as it was light, these dear, devoted women hurried to the tomb of Jesus to complete the work begun by Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus right before the Sabbath began. Their work was to properly prepare the body of Jesus for burial. And because of the fast approaching Sabbath, Joseph and Nicodemus didn't have the time to do a complete job. The names of the women who came to the tomb reads like an honor roll. They were Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome. These women proved themselves to be the most devoted followers of Jesus, and they alone came to the tomb that Sunday morning. They brought spices with them, which were used to cover the smell of a decomposing body. The women did not expect to find an empty tomb. They came wondering who would open the tomb for them by rolling away the stone covering the entrance. This shows that the resurrection accounts cannot be the product of wishful thinking. These women did not even expect that it could happen. They did not find the Roman guards on their watch when they came to the tomb. Instead, they saw that the large stone covering the only entrance to the tomb of Jesus had been rolled away. And the Gospel of Matthew tells us that it was an angel that rolled away the stone. It's good to remember that that stone was not rolled away to let Jesus out. John chapter 20, verse 19 suggests that Jesus, in his resurrection body, could pass through material barriers. No, that stone was rolled away so that others could see in and be persuaded that Jesus Christ was in fact raised from the dead. Looking inside the tomb, the women saw an angel in human form, a young man clothed with a long white robe sitting. The angel told them that Jesus was raised from the dead, and he showed them the empty tomb. The angel spoke in a beautiful contrast. He said that Jesus was crucified, that's the past tense. Now Jesus is risen in the present tense. The angel painted the contrast between what Jesus was and what he now is. He was crucified beyond all doubt, and that meant that he was dead. Now he is risen, not only resuscitated, but resurrected. Now, there are several examples in the Bible of people being resuscitated before this, such as the widow's son in the days of Elijah. That's in 1 Kings chapter 17. And of course, Lazarus in John chapter 11. Each of these was resuscitated from death, but none of them were resurrected. Each of them was raised in the same body that they died in, and raised from the dead to eventually die again. Resurrection isn't just living again, it's living again in a new body, based on our old body, perfectly suited for life in eternity. Jesus was not the first one back from the dead, but he was the first one resurrected. The angel made the point clear when he said to the women, "See the place where they laid him." You see, the actual event of Jesus' resurrection is nowhere described in the Bible, but the discovery of it is recorded in some detail. Those women were later grateful that the angel told them to see the place where they laid him. It should have been enough to merely hear the testimony of the angel. Nevertheless, when they saw it, it gave them the ground to stand on that was even more solid than the testimony of an angel. Through the eyewitness testimony of these women, we can also see this place, the empty tomb of Jesus. You see, when we see the place where they laid him, we can see that God the Father did not forsake Jesus. When we see the place where they laid him, we see that death is conquered. When we see the place where they laid him, we see that we have a living friend and Savior in Jesus Christ. Trusting in their eyewitness testimony, we can enjoy the greatness of the fact of the resurrection of Jesus. The tomb is empty. Jesus lives. His resurrection is a fact of history. But his life in you is for you to receive by faith. Receive and be happy today.